You were playing NBA basketball just 2 months ago now. Here we are, mid-November, and you're going to be heading back to training camp in just about 3 weeks. How has that been for you to process?
I'm actually really excited about it, actually. To get back started. I haven't actually stopped playing basketball since we left the bubble, man. So I probably took a week off, and I've been back in the gym ever since. I mean, back and forth from Texas with John Lucas and between here and Raleigh, you know what I'm saying? Doing workouts down here. So it's been a great, experience off season this year.
I was going to ask what the off-season training has been like for you. You said you haven't stopped working, but when you're kind of just continuing to go through the motions, not knowing for quite a bit of time when the season's going to even start, how does that make getting ramped up into shape even more difficult?
Right. Like you said, there's a lot of uncertainty about, what was going to happen and, when we were going to start. I expected it, to be a little earlier than, what most people did. And, but for me, it was always about staying ready. And I love the game. So, being in the gym for me is kind of peaceful. And, I enjoy being in the gym and working out. So, for me, it's easy, to kind of just stay active and be in the gym. It's obviously paid off because we're starting, a few weeks and, with a hectic schedule coming up. So definitely, it wasn't too difficult for me.
I think a lot of people are really excited to see what the Rockets put on the floor this season. When you look at this group that you return, and of course, we don't know what's going to happen in free agency, but what do you think about your time in the bubble and how that helped this group become an even more cohesive unit?
I think just the bonding experience, about the bubble, is kind of what was valuable in itself. It's something that was super different, for everybody, a little bit uncomfortable, but, you seeing your teammates 24/7 is a different experience. And, definitely did our best to enjoy each other and, enjoy our time in the bubble. So I think that definitely helped our chemistry a bit. And I think it'll carry over to next season, definitely.
There have been a lot of changes in this organization in this offseason, this unprecedented offseason. New head coach in Stephen Silas. What have been your initial impressions of Coach so far?
I'm actually really excited about him. I mean, he's a young guy. He's got a lot of energy. And I think he's going to bring some good stuff to the table for us, as far as our, game plan, our schemes are concerned. I had a chance to pick his brain about a week ago when I met him. And, I'm really excited for what he has. You know what I'm saying? He's a great guy. I mean, I love him as a person already. And, like I'm saying, he's going to bring some good stuff to the table for us.
You've said you worked out with John Lucas throughout this time. How important was it to make sure that he was part of this staff coming into this new season under a new head coach?
John Lucas is, somebody that's really instrumental to us, as Houston Rockets. And, he's obviously been around here for a long time. And, the guys love him and the guys really respect him, just for who he is and, what he brings to the table. So I think, for us as an organization, it was critical that, we brought him back and made sure he stayed around.
I know we're all really looking forward to Rockets basketball coming back, but I want to talk a little bit of your off the court projects. You have a clothing line. I'm so curious, how did this start and how involved were you in the creative aspects of designing your products?
Yeah, I've actually, had kind of an eye for, design and clothing and stuff. So, when I first made it to the NBA, I kind of started a small clothing line just for myself. And it kind of grew into something, people actually wanted to buy. So I kind of expanded it, to, online and stuff and kind of built it around that. But I definitely, design all of my own things, and I come up with all the designs myself. Obviously, I have a design team that kind of helps, piece things here together if I don't quite have it all the way there. But I definitely do, have 95% of that design input on, what I put out there.
There's the signature CC on many of them, but you also feature words like inspire and consistency on some of the clothes. Why are those words in particular so important to you?
Inspire, for one, is just, something that's always kind of stuck with me just as a person, kind of the story that I have, it's an inspirational story to a lot of people, especially, in Raleigh, North Carolina, and guys that, trying to do things that, people say they can't do. And, obviously, I've overcome that, and people look at that and they're, inspired, obviously. So that's kind of where that one came from. Consistency is just, it's about, continuing to do what you're doing and trail your own path, and, hopefully everything will work out for you, man. Just staying consistent in what you're doing mentally, physically, everything.
You're on a team of fashionistas. I think Russell Westbrook, PJ Tucker, Ben McLemore is kind of in the mix. Damari Carroll was on the team with the fashion line. Right. What are we doing here? We got we're gonna have a Rocket store. What's going on?
They are on another level. I mean, I'm not gonna put myself at their level. I do more athletic stuff. They are designer, and they got all types of stuff going on. I can't even imagine how they come up with stuff like they wear. So, but yeah, you're right. We got a whole lot of fashion in our team.
Yeah, absolutely. For those interested in purchasing the Chris Clemons line, where can they do so?
Oh, at www.officialchrisclemons.com. Definitely, we have some stuff there available. I'm gonna put some more stuff out here soon.
I'm curious, what's been put out on your social media recently is you in a music video, 2-minute warning. They played it at the practice facility recently. Can you tell me a little bit about this collaboration and how it all came together?
Yes, the artist Rashid is actually a good friend of mine who I met in high school, and he's been doing music for, a couple of years now, and I really enjoy his music. I'm a fan of his music. And it was an honor for me to, that he gave me the opportunity to, be on the the song, and, be in the music video and sharing that, the experience of making a song, which was new to me, and, it was very exciting. But definitely the song is great. I love it. I had it playing in the practice facility. I've shared it with my teammates and everything. So it's doing really well. It recently played on Shade 45. So that's the big thing for us. So we're definitely excited about the song.
Very cool. Is this something you'd want to do more of in the future?
I am not a rapper. So I can't dabble too much into that world, but if Rashid ever wanted to do another, song like that, I would definitely be open to doing one with him.
I was going to say, this team is one of many talents. We had Ben McLemore during quarantine, Young Sav. He was showing me all his stuff. I was ready to get you guys on a collaboration together.
Oh, I would do one with Ben too if he wanted me to. Ben's actually, he's really good, actually. I mean, that kind of surprised me. I didn't know Ben did the whole rapping thing, but he's actually really good. His music is really good, so definitely check him out as well.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thank you so much for taking the time with us today. We look forward to seeing you back here in Houston very soon, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Still to come on Rockets All Access, Kaylee chats with Rashid about his first impressions of Chris Clemons.
And he looked like a middle schooler at the time, too. He gonna be upset at me saying that, but he looked like a really, really, really small kid.
Plus, how the Rockets teamed up to feed 2,000 families for Thanksgiving.
I am joined now by Rashid. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today. We know you have a very close relationship with Chris Clemons. We talked to him just the other day. How far does that relationship go back?
Well, to about between his sophomore and junior year in high school. I actually came down to Raleigh. I moved here from Virginia to be a part of the Millbrook coaching staff. And it's funny because the athletic director that I met with at first, he was going through all the guys that he had, and he just mentioned Chris, and he said, yeah, we got another kid. He's kind of small, but he's really good. That was all he said about him. So it was obviously, you can imagine my surprise, once I actually met him in the gym.
When did you know that Chris had something special?
The very first day in the gym. He just, for one, I remember the first day, he was there before anybody else. Of course, it was my first day, so I was trying to be there before anybody else. And, he's already in there, and he's already sweat, and, he had been going for a moment there. And he's shooting, and he's just shooting all different spots on the gym, and the three-point line is like 10 feet, up. And he's just shooting like almost free throws from everywhere in the gym. I'm like, that's the little guy that they were talking about. And he looked like a middle schooler at the time too. He gonna be upset at me saying that, but he looked like a really, really, really small kid. And he was just shooting from all over the gym. And I mean, just from that moment on, you knew that he was special and that he was headed for something great as he is now.
We talked offline before, but you were at the game in Charlotte, at the game in Atlanta. That Charlotte game, he told us he had about 300 fans there. He also told us yesterday more about his clothing line that he has and how much traction it's gotten in the community. Just how much does he mean to the community back in North Carolina?
He is huge for us. God, I don't know how to put it into a few words. He's been around us for the last few days. He's here now. He means so much to us, and he knows it. You know, whenever he comes back in town, our head coach, Coach Davis, myself, he hits us and he just lets us know, hey, I'm in town, and we'll hit the gym. You know, go to the mall, go out to eat. Just he's truly a little brother to us, for sure.
That is awesome. Now, I do want to talk about the most important thing that we called you up for, and that was 2-minute warning. How did this all come about?
So, Chris, I have been a music artist since before I knew who Chris Clemons was. Once Chris Clemons found out who I was as a music artist, he immediately became a fan. Like he would show me like the stuff he was listening to as he was working out, and be some of my stuff that I didn't even promote heavily. Especially to them. So just throughout, from his high school years, throughout his college years, he would always tell me, yo, I want to go to the studio with you. I'm like, all right, what you going to do? You going to rap? You just want to sit in there? Like, what you going to do? He's like, no, I just want to go in the studio with you. So fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, I was sitting here with our head coach, Coach Davis, and he was like, hey, Chris is flying out next week. And I'm like, dang, I told him I would let him get in the studio. I would bring him in the studio with us. So I had a record. It was 2 minutes long, literally 2 minutes. And I had a bunch of stuff that I had written just about him, about, you know, just metaphorically kind of speaking about everything that's going on. And we went in the studio. I knocked out my part. He went in there. Thanks to Coach Davis being in the booth with him, he got the courage up to speak. Because, you know, Chris doesn't do a lot of talking. I don't know if y'all noticed that about him yet, but to have him on that record screaming and yelling and hyping me up the way he did, that is not very typical of him. So, but luckily Coach Davis was in there to big him up and make him feel good.
Well, you did post a video of it playing in the Rockets practice facility. What was that like for you to see? So for everybody listening to this right now, you got to understand that I have been a Houston Rocket fan since I was three or 4 years old. I'm a Muslim, and seeing Hakeem Olajuwon, I remember the game very vividly. Hakeem was on the sideline, and he was squirting water into his mouth, and he was spitting it out. And the announcers was like, well, he's fasting for the holy month of Ramadan right now. And I just was like, wow. You know, as a young kid growing up and having, you know, that same, you know, connection to him, I've been a Hakeem fan ever since. And of course, that made me a Rocket fan. And I've been a Rocket fan diehard through the good, the bad, the ugly, and the good again. So through and through, I told Chris the only time I would wear another jersey for another team is if he played for another team, but it'd be hard rooting for them. But yeah. But so this must be your dream come true to see Chris Clemons in a Rockets jersey.
Man, I just when I purchased that Houston Rocket jersey and it said Clemons on the back of it, it was very surreal. And the other thing is that my fan base knows how much of a Houston Rocket fan I am, and the reaction to him being there, and then us kind of just the whole thing being full circle, and then the video of from the practice facility with the song playing in the background the day after it released. It just was like, I'm still in a dream right now with all of this, man. It's great. Chris was an underdog coming out of high school, even though he was, you know, to me, easily one of the best players in the country. He was an underdog coming out of Campbell, where, as you know, he went undrafted. So it's just been that type of connection. And me as an artist, I feel the same way. I always feel like I'm an underdog and I carry that chip on my shoulder. And, we are workaholics because of that.
Rashid, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today. We look forward to hopefully getting another song out there and playing it at the practice facility again soon. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.